What up, guys? Jason Guyman here, and tonight we got to see what Donovan's eating tonight. I was actually going to put it on the thumbnail. What is he going to be eating tonight?
Oh man!
And
I just finished my whole plate of candy.
And he almost got the need of a finger while we were on here. His dog almost got his finger, but we will be talking about pressure washing, gutter cleaning, Christmas lights, I'm sure, permanent lighting, you name it, we'll be talking about it. And so if you have any questions, you'll definitely want to know. Ask them. We'll be bringing them up as we talk. But as we speaking, this is Memorial Day weekend. This is something that, we do want to remember that it is Memorial Day weekend. Remember the fallen soldiers. And so if you had served, I know it's not really for you at serving, but it is for the memory of the people that have fought for us so that we can be on a YouTube channel and talk to you all and help you all start, grow, and be successful. And so talking about that, I know we were talking before this, and there was 3 people that I know personally that I've helped that have hit the $100,000 mark in 1 month, and I know there's 2 other people or 3 that have hit $100,000 for the year as we speak right now, which is another awesome win, right? We got to take those wins and take it. So Nick Nutter has been out of Pittsburgh. He just hit his first $100,000 month, 6-figure month, which is awesome. We have Chris Johnson that hit his first 6-figure month doing pressure washing only, not doing Christmas lights and everything. And so this is awesome to see how we are doing this. But with that said, I'm not going to talk too much tonight. I'm going to get in here. Donovan, for the people that don't know who are you, just kind of give the 2-minute spiel of who are you, where you're from, all of that good stuff.
Absolutely. Give me one second. Let me take a swig of water. For those who don't know me, my name is Donovan Questenberry. I'm married. Hey, leave my chip alone. I'm married. I have 3 kids. I got a bunch of dogs. Come here, Star. So my passion when I'm not working is playing around with my puppy dogs. I actually compete in protection apprehension sports with Strider here. And Donovan's eating again. I'm always eating, it seems like. But I grew up in an entrepreneurial family, so right around high school time, trying to figure out what you want to do, I just decided to go into business for myself. My dad has more degrees than a thermometer, and he always ran a window cleaning business as he was working through college. So he kind of taught me the trade, and I started my business in high school, continued it afterwards, never really had a real job, and kind of grew it from there. We do a lot of gutter cleaning, and 3 or 4 years ago, we added on Christmas lights and power washing, and we did, we've hit 6-figure months, we've hit 6-figure weeks or 6-figure days with the different lighting jobs that we've done. So it's gone from me making $10,000 a year to $10,000 in a day. So it's been a good journey.
So let's go back to the beginning, and this is I'm going to be all over the place, and I know we probably will anyway because that's the way we roll, right? And so we'll hit all the rabbit trails because we like hitting the rabbit trails. But let's start back when you first started. What was some of the ways that, I always like to talk about Donovan because he's been in business for 15 years. He really never had a website till like 3 or 4 years ago. You never had a wrapped vehicle. You did have a logo, but that was about all that you had. But yet you were doing multiple 6 figures through those years without all of this stuff. So let's talk a little bit about that. And the only reason why I'm hitting on this is because I see a lot of people get in the hiccup of, I got to have a logo, and they want this logo, and they think this logo is amazing. And the logo is what makes them all this money. And so in the discussion I had earlier today in my mentorship group, I'm like, I had 4 trucks running. Not one of them was lettered. Not one of them had a logo on it. Nothing for that. And I did $1 million doing it just that way, right? I did $1 million and never had a logo truck on my yard signs, all it had was pressure washing and a big phone number. And so let's talk a little bit about that. And what are your thoughts along those lines?
Well, I mean, I actually, we ran 3 crews this past month, and this past year I actually have ended up buying all new vehicles.
And
And
that right there is an amazing feat for Donovan to buy all new vehicles, because when we were pressure washing, when he is his trailer, he had $1,000 rig that was an old beat up Ford. And how much money did that old beat up truck make you?
well, here's the funny thing. Even though I have all new vehicles, that same beat up truck, that $1,000 truck, is the one that I stuck one of the crews in this past month. So that old $1,000 truck's still out there getting it, and it brought in 45 grand this past month, and it's still running. So yeah, I haven't finished. I haven't put all the logos on all the other vehicles and stuff like that. So I'm still running the crappy ones and the new ones. uh,
So you got started with the gutter cleaning business, and with the gutter cleaning, you kind of started doing some pressure washing, and, and with that, some people may have thought that you can never grow a pressure or a gutter cleaning business to, a 6-figure business. Let's talk a little bit about that for anybody that might not want to do pressure washing, but may want to do another business by themselves.
well, I really say that we're more of in a service business than a business that provides a particular service. And what I mean by that is we can do any service. We can do gutter clean, we can do power washing, we can hang Christmas lights, we can literally do whatever we want to make money. So you got to find something that you enjoy doing, that challenges you a little bit. It's going to give you a little bit of fulfillment, and then hopefully makes you a lot of money. And if you don't believe me when I say that, I'll prove it to you. There are people who clean gutters for way more than me, and then there are people who clean gutters for way less than me, and then there's people who clean gutters right at the same rate as me. The only difference is the personal, decision if we are going to charge premium or charge regular or whatever. But for that same service, you got people who are charging a huge range of prices. Same thing, it will happen in every service industry. I got a buddy who's a plumber. He used to do gutter cleaning. He sold his business. It's called Gutter Maids up in Minnesota or something like that, somewhere up north where they have a shorter season. He was doing $450,000 a year cleaning gutters, just himself and a helper. He sold that business, and then he started a plumbing company. And he started as a sales guy for another company, and he won an award for selling over $220,000 worth of plumbing in 1 month. So, it's for me, if you can go from gutter clean to, plumbing, then you can go from gutter clean to pressure washing to Christmas lights, because those are kind of more fairly close together on the service business category.
And what it comes down to is basically what you're saying. It's not about the equipment. It's not about the thing. It's about giving good customer service, answering your phone, doing the things you're going to say you're going to do, and people will call you back and people will refer you. And it's just an amazing thing when we do this, correct? The only difference is the person that's offering it. And it's true, and this is something that I was hitting on earlier is people do business with people, and if and that's why like my websites, I've been hitting on that so hard, of showing who you are, so then that way you can, as a person, get this and understand how this works. So one thing that Donovan and I both love, yes, we both love the pressure. Actually, Donovan could care less about the pressure washing side of things. But we both love Christmas lights, right? And so
Absolutely.
let's talk a little bit about Christmas lights and permanent lighting, and what is your thoughts coming into 2023 with the economy and everything that's going on? What are your thoughts about this year, whether it's in pressure washing, gutter cleaning, Christmas lights? What are your thoughts behind that?
Well, for the folks who don't know, when I started offering Christmas lights, I was already pretty busy cleaning gutters, and I was looking to basically kind of fill a month where the leaves are still falling, and but I didn't want to start a whole new business. I started watching Jason's information on Christmas lights, and I was like, oh, wow, you can charge a lot of money for this. And so my theory was, if I was going to do even more work while I'm already busy, I might as well charge a whole heck of a lot of money for doing it. And it basically introduced me to premium pricing. And some of y'all have gotten exposure to that premium pricing model through Jason, through pressure washing or whatever. But for me, Christmas lights was the first service that I offered at a premium pricing at a ridiculous price, I thought in my mind. And so for me, it has more of a impact because it changed my life more than any other service, because it was the first time that I started having money in the bank and really good revenue and able to, pay my wife and myself as like real employees and bring insurance and just different things for different employees that we weren't able to do before. And that's all because we finally started charging what the going rate should be. So with that, I mean, I fell in love with the business side of it, and then it was the first service that we were offering where it brought like joy to clients more so than just fulfilling an absolute need for them. So we really enjoyed doing the service. Now, I don't remember what your original question was, but just trying to give a little feedback on, why I appreciate Christmas lights so much.
Yeah. So I'm just reading through some comments here. This is a comment that came from Sam. Glad to finally make a live. Been listening and following Jason's advice from the ground level of my business. This is my first year and I'm already fully self-employed. Bills are paid and making money more than ever. Still a long ways to go. Excited to learn and grow. That's awesome, Sam. So someone asked a question here too. This isn't pressure washing, but do Christmas lights work for other holidays, for like the 4th of July and different things? And we'll be talking more about this, but let's hit on it a little bit.
Well, what I would say is yes, absolutely. And then there's a large trend right now for installing what we call permanent lighting. And this is something that Christmas Light Contractors has developed the best permanent lighting system on the market today. It's the easiest to install. If you guys can, clean gutters, you can install these lights and, easily in a day install $5, $10, $15, $20,000 worth of lights on a home. And then the homeowner can go out there and they can push a button and set it to architectural lighting. So if they have these like eaves on their house, right, it can do like more of architectural security lighting. They can change it to look like Christmas lights. They can change it to look like 4th of July lights. There's a lot that homeowners can do, and it's a big trend right now. So that's something that we've developed the product line. We're actually doing training. And then Jason, I think aren't you putting on a training here upcoming like next week or this week or something on permanent lighting and pressure washing?
Yep, I am. Oh shoot, I didn't want to do that one. Yes, I am. Yes, you can go check out it at kpwtrain.com will take you to it, and it'll go to the Cincinnati one, and that's the one that has the permanent lighting, and that'll be Friday and Saturday is for that. Tyler Zimmerman is like a genius on this stuff. It's Fred's brother, and he is literally a genius on this stuff. He knows this stuff inside and out and up and down and everything. Yep. But the cool thing about this training is Tyler Zimmerman is a genius just in business in general. Like he's a multi-millionaire. And I don't even know why he's working for Donovan and that just as a hobby, because he's literally retired at 40 years old. But he's super genius, and that's what I love about it. He's one of those guys that you just want to sit and listen to whatever he has to speak, because whatever it is, it's like a wealth of knowledge. So it will be a 2-day. You can go check it out. But that is definitely. And then this is something that you could do also with a painting business coupled with Christmas lights. Absolutely, 100%. You could do Christmas lights, permanent lighting, or with a painting business. I promise you'll probably make, unless you're just huge with the painting business, you will probably make 10 times more with the Christmas light business than you will ever do in the painting business within the 2-month period, 2 to 3 months.
Well, I just spent $10,000 paying somebody to paint a like an investment property for me, and I think they were out there for maybe 3 or 4 days. But then there was like several more days that there was like touch ups and they missed this and they missed that. So So, but I would say that was a crew of maybe 5 or 6 guys, and they were making maybe 3 grand a day or something like that. Well, in terms of hanging Christmas lights, um, if you guys can, paint the outside of a house and you can reach all those little nooks and crannies, you can hang Christmas lights on them. And we're aiming to do $10,000 a day for a 2-man crew. Now, permanent lighting, if you sell if you sell it to the client, is more, probably even more per day. So you should be able to install at least $15,000 a day with 2 people doing permanent lighting.
And it does take a little bit to get used to it. Like I did my house, and it took me, which I did some filming and stuff, and I had screwed it up, and all the good stuff because I didn't know what I was doing. And it took me like 2.5, 3 hours on my house. Now it's a 1-story,
Yeah.
so I can actually literally touch. Don't even have to get on a ladder. So that's going to take some little bit of time also. But for sure. So with that, I want to hit a little bit on, and if anybody's got anything, you all can ask anything. With your permanent light systems, you're charging a territory fees or setup fees. There is not with the Million is not got any territory
So
fees, right?
um, there's going to be a live tomorrow talking about this a little tiny bit. Um, what you have with the permanent lighting that would be any sort of fees associated with it, territory fees, like is Christmas, if you're going to buy permanent lighting from Christmas Light Contractors, are we going to charge you a territory fee or anything like that? No. You don't need to pay for a training. You don't need to, blah, 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 in order to purchase from us, just like you don't have to purchase from us in order to go to this permanent lighting training. They're separate, right? You can join vibrantnights.com and basically get a website, and that is the territory thing. Like if you wanted to try out permanent lighting but you didn't want to pay for a huge website, you can go to vibrantnights.com and sign up for that. But again, that doesn't really have anything to do with the permanent lighting itself. Now, as in terms of a setup fee, yeah, that depends on your controller. Some controllers, you can buy them for $100, but then there's going to be a setup fee of like $300 or something like that, and then your system will work. And some controllers, there is no setup fee. So that really just depends on the system that you go with. And for me to get into any more specifics than that, you'd have to have a lot of information about the different types of systems.
Um, Donovan, how do you price non-walkable roofs for gutter cleaning? Also, how do you price gutter cleaning with gutter guards?
Yeah. Um, we don't really factor in uh, if the roof is walkable or not. We price it based upon the difficulty of the roof, and that's more of like not difficulty, but if it's like a front roof and a back roof, it has 2 facets. But if it has all these angles and valleys and stuff like that, more debris gets caught up on the roof, and that's what we consider difficult, not necessarily how steep it is. And then just the size of the home. So doing that is kind of our factor. My office ladies don't really look at the photo of the roof and think, oh, can the guys do that or not? We're just kind of trained to do it. My opinion is, hey, if a roofer, if there's tiles on that roof or shingles or something like that, somebody had to get up there to nail them in. So it's just a matter of developing that skill set.
So, this is kind of a marketing question for Christmas lights. Do I recommend yard signs for Christmas? Absolutely. So the two best
Yep.
things that I know for marketing last year were yard signs and then Facebook ads do really well with it.
Yep.
Between those two, do very well. You can do Google ads, and that's what I did for some, but some of the Google ads I think are changing a little bit as we speak. It's going to a lot of the Google guarantee, and that's a little bit of a life hack if you're not into it yet. I would highly recommend you to do it, and it is definitely something that is going to change more as we speak about AI and how I've actually got the new Google look of the Google Labs. If you've gotten to see it, it's going to change the internet a lot. This is something that it doesn't look like your organic SEO is one of those things that's not going to be so good at the end of this. But you will see your Google local is still pretty huge.
Yeah, the Google loco, the Google local was the number one bringer of leads for me. Then probably Facebook ads, and then probably yard signs.
and,
Um,
and
but the
not
nice thing
actually
is
not
for
actually
yards,
Google local what you're talking about, but you're talking about Google My Business was the number one thing that brought you the most leads, correct?
yeah, the map listing,
Yeah, the
yeah,
map
the
listing.
local map listing, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So
Um,
those are
but
definitely.
like if you go to like moneybushes.com for the yard signs, right?
Yep.
Okay. So if they go there and you buy 500 signs and they're like $3-4 each, you're going to spend 1,500, $2,000. But if you price a Christmas light job right, that's one job. I mean, if you get one job, you're going to pay for all your yard signs. You get two jobs, you're going to pay for all your lights and everything else. If you get 3 or 4 jobs off of it, you're going to be putting $3, $4, $5,000 in your pocket. So to think that out of 500 yard signs, that's not going to generate 4 or 5 jobs, yeah, of course it will if you guys consistently put them out between Thanksgiving and July the 10th.
And the key is putting them out. I've seen a lot of people, and Donovan was one, and DJ's one, that they have a whole lot of them in their shop or garage, and they don't work very well in there. I know he put them out this past year, but they've sat in there for a while, and so they don't make no money sitting in there. They're just a dry seed at that point. You got to plant them in the ground. And it's not just Donovan I getting on. DJ, I know I got some videos coming out of that coming up. So
Yeah, the only thing worse than running out of signs is having a lot of signs in your shop and never putting them out.
yeah. So Lindy asked the question, talk to me about greenery. Are we going to be looking at a
Wait,
shortage
wait, wait.
again?
Who said that? Who asked that
Lindy.
question?
Lindy. And the price gone up
Hey,
on garland or down as well as wreath?
is that Lindy out of Charlotte, North Carolina?
That is.
Ask her if my guys have been putting out yard signs this year. Hey, Lindy, have you been seeing any yard signs over in Charlotte, North Carolina this year? Um, no, I think prices are going to be down at the beginning of the season. I don't think they're going to go up from last year. I think that price is going to be down a little bit because a lot of people overbought and got stuck with a lot of inventory. So we already have a lot of inventory that's here stateside. The thing is with wreaths and garland and everything else is that while prices are going to be down compared to last year, it's still really, really expensive to get it here, and it takes up a lot of space and stuff. So it's going to be very important for there to be a local source for you. You don't want to have to ship garland or greenery or any big bulky stuff from the other side of the country because it's going to cost you more in shipping and time for it to get there than it's even worth.
Yeah. Do you need to have electrical license to install Christmas lights? No. Or permanent lighting? Maybe. It depends on your state. If you're really blue state, there's probably a good chance that you may need a license. Like Connecticut, I know needs a license. There's other places that you don't need. Most places don't need a license. But actually, I was talking to Fred, and it seems like the more blue state you are, the more likely chance that you do need a license.
Yeah. The nice thing about permanent lighting is that you're not cutting the wire at all. You're just kind of fitting different components together. So it's more likely you'll be okay and not need a license. With your temporary lighting, just your holiday lighting, you're actually cutting the wire. You're adding plugs to that. It's 120 volt. So if your area is are the lights low voltage, so that's all I'm saying. The temporary lights are the 120 volt. So if you're trying to leave that style of lights up year round, that's a no bueno, right? Because you're customizing, cutting 120 volt for a permanent installation. That's not going to do it. But what you can do is get the Minlian permanent lighting kit that we've developed at Christmas Light Contractors. You can get that kit and you're not cutting any wires, or we can special order you the customizable, but it's low voltage. So you have to install a transformer from that 120 down to low voltage, and then you can run your wires like you are there, after that transformer. You just have to have that outlet in place where you want it.
How much can you make off 800 yard signs for pressure washing? It really depends. I always say you never know what 1 yard sign can bring. I've seen 1 yard
Yeah.
sign bring $20,000, $30,000 off of 1 yard sign placed in the right place with the right customer, right? And
Yeah.
so 800 yard signs is probably, you're probably getting close to the $100,000 mark. I know people that put 800 to 1,000 yard signs, maybe 1,500 yard signs out, and they're hitting $100,000 off those yard signs. They're at the right place, the right time, all of that kind of stuff. But it is something that it is definitely, you have to do over and over and over.
You
Um,
know, and
go,
I think the longer you're in business too, the more effective these things become, right? And I think that, for me putting out 800 yard signs, well, my clients have seen me, for years and years and years. They've seen those 800 signs before, right? It just so happens that I'm putting out another 800 now. So just keep that in mind. I mean, if you're brand new and you're trying to get clients, go do 3 times as much as you think it takes, and you'll be all right. You know what I mean? Like whatever I say that I'm doing, go do more than that. Just until you can get that ball rolling, because that's what takes that most effort, is right there in the beginning, just trying to get that ball rolling. Again, sometimes you can come to some training, or listen to guys like Jason, or do an in-person training or something like that, and that'll help you get that ball rolling. But nothing's going to substitute just going out there and doing the work, and finding what works for you. And you're going to find that, like, Google reviews start working really well. So you kind of slow down putting out yard signs, and then that workflow slows down a little bit, and you start putting out yard signs again. And you start getting more jobs, and you're like, it clicks for you. Okay, I don't need to put out 800 yard signs right now. I just need to put out 50 a week, 5 a day, 10 a day, something like that, to keep those leads consistently going. But it's going to take a while. It's going to take for you trying a bunch of different things, and then stopping, and then trying it again, and realizing your particular method of getting those leads to flow.
and a lot of it is your systems, right? I could give you all the leads you want, and your telephone script isn't right. Your systems aren't right. You can't handle that many leads, right? And so this is why it is important. I was talking with earlier that Nick Nutter hit his $100,000 month, and I talking to Chris last week about him hitting $100,000 month. And he's like, Jason, I would have never been able to do this last year. I didn't have the systems in place to make this happen. And so a lot of people just, and it doesn't matter if I'm talking $100,000 or $10,000. Sometimes $10,000 seems like a heck of a lot for the month, and then the next thing you're doing $10,000 a week, right? And so it's one of those things that you got to make sure that your sales script's right. You got to make sure everything is dialed in. How you go do the jobs, how you follow up on the jobs, how you schedule the jobs, and it's all important in knowing how to do this. So that way, and this doesn't matter if we're talking pressure washing, Christmas lights, gutter cleaning, any of it, right? It's all the same when we're dealing with this stuff. And it's important that we're able to make sure that we have that customer journey written down. And I always say, write down your customer journey, write down every step of your customer journey, and then start building it out and making it better, right? Because as we make it better, things that we will do is we will catch the crumbs that fall down through the cracks because of whatever reason. And so that's why it's important we start figuring this stuff out. And here's the thing: if you're having issues at $1,000, when you get to $10,000, $100,000, that problem just gets bigger. It doesn't go away. It's like a big magnifying glass. And if you don't have your systems right down here at 1,000, 10,000, when you get to 100,000, it's a nightmare waiting to happen.
Yeah. And your systems aren't going to be perfect, right? You're gonna fix some systems out of sheer necessity, or you're gonna get set back. That's going to happen. And when I was first getting started business, I was thinking, holy cow, like, everybody should do this, right? Why would you ever work for somebody else? And now that I've been around the bush a little bit, I'm like, this is not an easy journey, right? If you just want to, like, hop on something and coast, then go try to find the best paying job that you can for the lowest amount of work, because that is definitely not business ownership, and you're not going to get to any level of less ease. We were just Jason and I were talking about this right before the live, is that I'm just now getting to the point where I feel like I can just like kick back and relax for a while, and I don't have to think about business all the time, and I can just goof off if I want to goof off. But that's like 15 years after me starting my business. If a lot of people try to do that way too soon, they make 100 grand, they've never made that before, and they kick their feet back, and they never got it to that point where their business is functioning without them being focused on it 100% of the time. So I think people should just know that going into it. If you're going to start your own business, be prepared to do a little bit of work.
This is a good question because it comes from a good person here. David Hamill. He got a small business. When paying for production pay, what percentage and how do you split it between two-person crews? Crew leader gets more.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, so I have not fine-tuned this to the extent that I think I'm going to ultimately. But I have started when I'm interviewing people and the technicians that are working for me, I've started including a little bit about our company culture, a little bit about our goals, and then where they fit into it long term. We have different levels of technicians. So we have apprentice technicians, we have technicians, and then we have senior technicians. And they all get paid a little different, and then they all qualify for different levels of performance pay. But for me, an apprentice technician needs 6 months of experience, and at least a month of that needs to be with my business. And then they can qualify for some incentive pay. While they're an apprentice technician, if on the truck they're a crew leader or they're a helper position, and so if they're a helper position and apprentice technician, they can earn up to $50 a day in incentive pay, and they can earn up to $22 an hour in hourly pay. And for gutter cleaning, what I'm doing is once they reach $1,500 for the day, they get 10% of their gross for incentive pay on top of their hourly pay. So if they do $1,500 a day, then that crew is going to get $150 in bonuses. If you're an apprentice technician, you'll get $50. And if the crew leader is a technician, which he is, then he's getting the other 100. So the crew leader's getting more, and the helper is getting a little bit less, but they're still getting the equivalent of a $6 or $7 an hour raise, on top of their hourly pay. I started doing this, and then I was having crews hit $3,500 in a day, where some weeks they weren't hitting $3,500 before, but because of that incentive pay, they're like, let's get it done today. And me as a business owner, I can't, make more hours in a day, more productive or less, whatever. So the crews themselves want to pack more in today, because tomorrow it might rain for half the day and they only hit, $1,400 and they don't get any bonus. So they'd rather it be done today. I'd rather it be done today. And then clients are always happy when we move their appointment forward versus pushing it back a week or two.
Yeah. So the way I did it was we did percentage, and it was 15%. 15. You can do anywhere from about. We did 15%, and then if they hit their certain goals, which was ours was $1,500 a day for one crew back then, our one man crew, and if he was able to do that, then we also gave 3% bonus, 3 or 4% bonus, but he had to try to get at least one review. He could only have 2 callbacks per the week. And so that way, kind of, yes, you can make more, but you also got to go the extra mile to do it. And if we did have a helper, usually our helper was just an hourly wage guy. So that way we knew what our cost was for us. We tried to run one-man trucks, and that's the way we did it. So that way we could keep our costs down and do what we needed to do. We did do electric hose reels and making everything simple, but it was a one-man truck. And like I said, we did 15 to 18%, 15 to 19%, I think it was. I think we gave 4% if they, cleaned their truck, got a review, and they were, and actually the reviews we were doing $25 gift cards every review they got, because
Oh, nice.
reviews are very important, and so we really pushed for our reviews.
Very nice.
What time will class start on Saturday and end on Sunday? So that is for pressure washing and marketing, and it will be for permanent lighting marketing. I think we got it at 8 or 9. I think it's at 8:30. 8:30, and we usually get at, depending on how many people we have and how many questions.
Three, four,
Um,
five.
they get out around 5ish. 4 or 5 is when we get out. So that's when we'll be done. Lindy said, "Yeah, she's seen your signs." Actually, she said, "No, I'm so busy making money to notice." So she's not paying attention.
uh,
Uh,
they had a pretty good month too.
yeah, they did have a
They,
huge month, doing twelve
yeah, they
thousand
did
dollar
pretty good.
jobs up there.
Yeah.
Where do you get the garland? You can get it at Christmas Light Contractors or ChristmasLights.io,
Yep.
right? Are
Yep.
you guys selling it? Yeah.
Yep.
1 yard sign just returned me $3,000, $3,300 residential property wash. They work. It's our only form of marketing besides boots on the ground. I don't talk pricing when it's important.
Very nice.
Yep, yep. Exterior solution. Where's a good place to get uniforms? A place who can help you visualize what you want. I don't know, because I'm not going to say too much where
We
Donovan got his
we
shirt,
we
but I don't recommend them with what they did to DJ here lately. So,
yeah. So it's very tough to recommend a good, consistently good jersey uniform company because they all suck in one way, shape, form, or another. They all suck. Major donkey. You know what? All right. They either have a great design and it takes you a year and a half to get them, or even though you specifically say to them, "This is a Christmas shirt. I need it before Christmas," and they fucking deliver it to you in January, right? Um, either you'll run into that or you like get a design from them and you're like, you gotta be some like quit biting that. You gotta be some like English is my 15th language, like once removed, like foreign country designed this thing that's never seen a human body before. Like, what are you thinking? So, with that, if you're gonna go this route and get nice shirts and jerseys, just have a lot of patience.
yeah, DJ took it took 3 months to get stickers, and it was effed up when they got them. Like the restore, he got paper restored. They forgot the E, the D, didn't put the phone number in it.
Look, I got my logo done up on some patches, the like 3D rubber patches that you can put on hats and stuff. And they finally arrived in after months and months and months of trying to get them, and they were backwards. Like all the lettering and everything was literally 180 degrees, like flipped backwards. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me! These are completely useless. Uh,
Yeah, so on uniforms, good luck. I used to use Queensboro. They were quick, they were fast. I did the
yeah,
Nike Dry Fit, put a logo there, and that's all
yeah,
I
they're pretty
did.
good. Yeah,
And
Queensboro is pretty good. I've never heard anything bad about them.
they're quick, they're fast. Printify is another one that you can do. That's kind of a newer one, Printify.io. And I don't know about the design works, but you could probably go on Fiverr or Upwork, or find somebody that
Yeah.
is in India that might be able to do good for you, and then do it that way also. I mean, it's just a thought.
Yeah, if you go that route though, take that proof and do a Google search on it. Make sure they're not ripping off somebody else's stuff.
Yeah, that's a guarantee anyway. So,
Yeah.
um, let's see. Don't celebrate too early. Where are you getting your employees? Lindy's looking for some to steal. Just go find them in the truck and tell them you'll pay them a little bit more than what he's paying them. So,
Oh, Lindita,
let's
I'm
talk about
following.
that. Let's talk about employees, because this is something that I know a lot of people struggle with. And I was just listening to a podcast that was talking about employees and people, nobody wants to work. And you know, when you have a negative attitude like that, you're right. You're not going to find a person that will work. You're going to say everybody sucks. And you're right, because it's back to having a positive outlook, having a positive look at your employees versus everybody sucks. So let's talk a little bit about employees and some things to think about when we're looking at them.
Um, I'll get my employees anywhere. I really will. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go to some like daily labor type works, but best employees have come from referrals. Um, And, some of the worst employees have come from everywhere. I mean, Craigslist, Facebook, Indeed, Glassdoor. I mean, I've done everything from like post an ad on Craigslist to pay for headhunters to find people. And at the end of the day, you'll find crap people in every single one of those. So just quit worrying about if you're going to find a bad person. You are. So I would just say cast a wide net. Um, Cast a really wide net, and more importantly, how are you developing the employees that you decide to hire? Because if you're doing very little onboarding and you're doing very little development with them, then it's tough enough to find good employees, but you can absolutely ruin one, or they can sink down to the level of all your other employees if you don't have a really good system in place to develop and onboard these new hires.
You know, it kind of like this book right here, and then I know I've been pushing this book a bunch, but he talks about hiring people in here, how you should have your systems down and where you could hire 50 people tomorrow, and everybody knows what to do. They have the system down. He also talks about how you can hire a salesman, that you want someone in the high D area. And so that way they're dominant and they can be a little bit cocky. And he talks about how you hire them too, right? And the way you put in your ad. And it's the same way. I'm actually reading the book Traction right now. Traction is a book that if you're in the growth stage of business and you've got 2-3 employees and you're trying to grow. And he talks about this too in there, about how when you have your core vision and you have 1 or 2 employees and you say, hey, what's 1 or 2 good traits about this employee? So that way we can go out there and start trying to find more employees like this employee versus like the bad traits over here. And so it's important that we get these traits so that way we can say, hey, these are the traits, and tell them, if we're working outside, don't be like, this is an easy, cushy job. You like to work outside. That's going to cut people off right there of, oh, I thought I was going to be sitting in the truck all day. And so making a good ad is what will help attract people. And when you have your core vision and you have your vision set and people know what your vision is, a lot of people don't know what their vision is. They don't have a vision. Their vision is I just want to go make money. And that's not a vision. They don't have a 5-year goal. They don't have a 10-year goal. They don't have no goals. They're barely, I fight tooth and nail every year of helping you guys set goals in the end of the year for the next year. And there's a reason why I do that for. Because when you set goals and you set vision, people will want to work with you or they won't want to work with you. If your vision is just to make money and get by till next week, nobody's going to want to work with that. If your vision is, hey, I want to grow a company that I have a sales manager and a operational manager, and you write down all the org chart that where you want to go at, and people know that you want to put their names in these positions, then they will work hard. They'll come together. They'll do what they need to do, and they will grow with you and have the same vision that you have, and that's the importance of it.
Yeah, my office manager came to me, and we have a real good working relationship. Um, and she was saying, she's like, yeah, she's like, I don't care where you're going, where you're moving, or whatever. She's like, I'm attached to you in the business because I know that you guys are going places, and I want you to bring me with you. Um, and that had not been said to me in the previous, 12, 13, 14 years of running a company. It's really these last few years that a lot of things have fallen into place, and we're starting to get some really good people in the business that aren't 100% dependent upon me to like pour into them every second of every day. So, um, you know, again, finding those key people is really tough. Just start. Just start. Start replacing. If you've never hired somebody before, you're going to try to start replacing the easiest tasks. I know this seems a little backwards. People want to replace the hardest task. No, replace the easiest tasks that take up the most amount of your time. Replace that first. And for most people, it's like a helper technician. Then probably a full-time technician. And I would just encourage you to rethink that and focus on somebody on the office first, because that's something that if you were to focus on that is going to make you a lot more money. So if you're not focusing on that right now, if that wasn't your immediate first position you want to replace, then I would say probably fire, as soon as you can afford it, hire somebody full-time in the office, and they will pay you dividends. It's not going to cost you money to hire them. It's going to make you money hiring them. Yes, your business does need to be at a certain level, but that would be my first hire, doing it all over again. An office admin, a really good office admin that has the potential of one day becoming the office manager. And, that would be my very first hire. Then probably a field technician side of the business.
So Nathan put, I made a review video on FinPrint. I have an idea what that review video probably is. Thank you, New York, California, and all you northern states for sending your rich people to Florida. We ordered red vest off Amazon and printed our logo on the work vest. That's not a bad idea.
There you go.
I hate how low of these companies want your credit card before you ever even see the preview of your design. Yep.
Hey, but look, I'm the same way in my service business. Hey, put a card on file. I get that you've just, found me on Google 2 seconds ago, but give me your credit card. It's not a bad thing.
So I guess Jill's office must be crowded because I seen somebody else up there above said they're waiting on Jill's office for next month to open up spots. It's frustrating. I'm trying to blitz these yard signs.
I've tried Jill's office this year. Jason, I'm sorry if they send you $1 million a year, but they suck. I've turned it off. Don't waste your money. Go hire somebody full time to work for you directly. Jill's office is horrible.
Wow. They've gotten too big.
They're not horrible.
They've gotten too big for what they're trying to do is their problem.
Yeah. They're not horrible. They're just not nearly as effective. That's one of those things that if you hire somebody from to work for you directly, they're going to pay you dividends. But you pay Jill's office, and it may or may not be a net positive for you. I would say it's probably not even worth it. But if you hire somebody directly, a good qualified person, they'll pay you dividends.
Yeah, and I've heard even Jill's office don't always answer your phone. So it's the feedback.
I called him the first time I called him on the weekend. I was on hold for over 5 minutes.
Well, I guess they answered the phone at least.
The whole point of hiring Jill's office is that people don't have to wait on me or go to voicemail. But but now I'm on hold, for 5 minutes on Jill's office. I'm like, this is BS. They could have just left a voicemail on my personal office, and my girls gave them a call back in the morning.
Right.
So
what's up, Donovan? Getting ready to step up on holiday lights this year. Nice shirt. Yep. And we do have some classes showing up. If you go to KPW Train, I know it's showing that it's pressure washing, but I also have the Christmas light classes. We have one in July with Fred Zimmerman in Indianapolis. And then I got the 2 dates for the ones in Raleigh, and it's in September and October.
We might do them out at my new place, man. That might be fun. Yeah. Yeah, just bought a $1 million house, so might have everybody out there, having a good time.
Nice. How far out is it?
It's about 30 minutes away from the office, so not too bad, but a good drive.
We use Uptown Harlem, and we have a 2 to 3 week turnaround, proofs in minutes. That's good. Where are they located at, Dream Team? Jason, I love simple yard signs. Would you recommend just permanent holiday lighting install with a phone number? I
Here's
almost
the thing.
go
Yeah, here's
ahead.
the thing about permanent lighting. Um, Nobody's searching for it. Nobody knows. Um, Nobody knows what it is. You have to show them, and um, you'd probably have more luck with a yard sign advertising landscape lighting or something like that, exterior lighting. They contact you about that. You can offer, the permanent holiday lighting for the house, but not very many people are searching for that. It's more of a they have to see it to really understand it. So, that's going to be tough doing with yard signs. But there's a lot of other things that you guys can do to market it. And I think Jason and Tyler are going to have a whole day on that next week. And we only got like another 10 minutes in this live. But marketing is a little different for these higher end type permanent services. It's like, if you needed an addition built onto your house when you're driving around, did you see yard signs that say, we put additions on houses and then a phone number? No, because it's just not the same, type of service. So you're going to have to come up with a little bit different way of advertising it. But you absolutely can do holiday lighting and you can do landscape lighting with yard signs, and those work pretty good.
Yeah. And you can do landscape lighting with the permanent lights.
Yeah.
And they're all synced together and the whole thing. So it is pretty
Yep.
cool what you can do with it. For sure. Mr. Michael, how you doing? What up, fellas? Just got in from washing. We are starting pushing Christmas lights now. Christmas Traction is great. That is a good books. Are you all hiring hourly or percentage of job?
Both.
Both. I was going to say when we sold the business, they actually went back to hourly and they're still work hourly.
Yeah, because they can
So
keep more money.
yeah. So I mean, it depends on what you want. If you have a really good tech, you're going to kind of screw him, and he's not like my number one tech. He's still there, and he was killing it on percentage because the other ones was not killing it on percentage. They were losing their butt. They were barely making $15 an hour at the end of it. Where my one tech, he was making $30, $40 an hour by percentage because I could load him up no matter what I put on him, and he would be back by 3 o'clock every day. And he had
Yep.
very few callbacks, and
Yep.
that's just the way he was. But I had other guys; they did 2 jobs and they were out till 7 o'clock at night and couldn't get them done to save their life.
Yep.
This one here really depends on how if you're S corp or an LLC or all that kind of stuff. How are you paying yourself as an owner, draw or
Yeah.
W-2?
I've gone from just mixing funds and, you look at all the cost above, you look at your net cost of a job and everything else is your profit that you're paying yourself in the beginning. You're just basically stealing from the business. You're not putting anything into marketing or growing the business. So I've started out like that. And then now I have some companies that I'm a W-2. I got other ones that I do owner's draws. And then, I'm a so I have multiple W-2s from different businesses. And, and then you have profits at the end of the year as well. So, the other thing is like, what are you trying to do in your personal life? Like for me, again, I'm trying to qualify for this home. So for the last few years, I've been upping my income as much as I possibly can for the last 3 years. Where last year, my personal income was over $550,000 and that's my personal income, not the gross amount that my business brought in. That's what, I pay taxes on for me personally. But that's because my goal was to show a lot of income. And now that we've accomplished that and I bought all new trucks this year and, everything else, like now my goal is to make my income as close to zero as I can. Because I don't want to pay all that in taxes. Last year I had to pay well over $150,000 in taxes. I don't remember the exact amount. I think it was closer to $175,000 or $180,000 in taxes last year. Where if I can find other ways of spending my money for the business, I think my wife and I are getting paid like $32,000, $33,000 a year each as W-2 employees. And then if we could just have the benefits of the business, vehicles and travel and, everything else, then I don't need the quote unquote the income.
Yep. And then you buy the building and all that kind of stuff to dump money, so
Yep.
that way you don't have money sitting there. When is the busy season for permanent lighting? Um, I would say is starting to pick up a little bit, and then obviously you're probably going to get into Christmas light season. Would be the other
Yeah,
thing.
I mean, it's going to be naturally um, that when people are thinking about Christmas lights, right? And they're just, they're naturally going to be the most interested in it then. What we do is we say, yeah, absolutely. Here's the price, here's this. Let's get locked in on a contract, and we'll come out there installing it in January. So we push those people off when it's in Christmas light season. Um, end of October through December, we push those people off till January. Um, but that's naturally going to be the busiest time for you to want to install. And that's, we're talking residential. Now, commercial, you can approach these guys anytime, but it's anywhere from a 6 month to, over a year on some of these larger projects that are 6 figure projects or creeping up on 6 figures. The time to get those approved, they got to go through all these votings and budget approvals and everything else. So that's a longer time frame to get it approved. So you need to get started on those right now, but there's not like a busier season like there is with residential. Um, yeah.
Will you ship permanent lights to Canada?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's $957 for shipping, though.
um, yeah, we got people in Canada that we can ship them to. That we've already paid to get it through customs, so we can get over to you.
David put for Christmas lights. What's your thoughts on having a guy who is your greenery guy and who installs all greenery? Only have to train one guy, and he can go back after Thanksgiving to put it all up.
Yep, we do that.
This way, early installs who don't want greenery up early.
Yeah, for us, it's like, what can we fit on a truck or in the van, right? Because if there's a lot of greenery, you know, or you're trying to get 4 or 5 jobs done for the day and they each have two 60-inch wreaths, you can't fit 10 wreaths on a truck. Um, so yeah, we got a guy that go around and put those up or drive around and drop off all the greenery and then, try to get it there before the install crew. So when the install crew is there, they can put it up real quick. Or, if the anchors and stuff are already there, or if it's after the install crew, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it's just bulk. That's the biggest thing about storing it. That's the biggest thing about installing it or taking it down. It just takes up so much room. It's just really bulky, is the biggest issue.
All right. Well, if you haven't checked out King of Pressure Wash, go check it out. That's where I have all my membership stuff. We have Monday Night Marketing. I teach everything that you need to know about how to start and grow a successful pressure washing business. I talked about Nick Nutter and a couple other ones having $100,000 a month, and that's where they all learn from. You can also go check out that too. I'm trying to find something else here that I'm trying to see. That's not it either. Oh, here it is. You can text King to 859-696-1101, and I will text you when I go live. So that way you know when I go live. So I text everybody when I go live. And then last but not least, again, we are having permanent lighting training in Cincinnati this upcoming weekend. It is a 2-day class. We will be installing on a house. It's not just looking at it. There might be a possibility of 2 houses getting installed. And so one might be installed on Friday and the other one might be installed Saturday afternoon or evening. I don't know if that's going to work or not, but I do have 2 houses that we may be installing on. And then for pressure wash training, it'll be Saturday and Sunday, and that is where it is. What is the address in Cincinnati for this weekend? It's actually in Northern Kentucky. I know I get asked a lot of people, why do you just put Northern Kentucky? Because people are like, where's that at? If you fly into the Cincinnati airport, you actually fly into Florence, Kentucky, and the hotel is the Cincinnati Airport, Florence, Kentucky Comfort Inn is where we're having the thing at. So it is definitely something that you will want to not miss. It is with With Tyler. Tyler has a wealth of knowledge. I guarantee you will learn 10 times what you put into it. So,
Absolutely.
um,
Yeah. If it's something you guys are considering, I mean, don't miss out on this because Tyler is really only with Christmas Light Contractors for this year. After that, he is, he's going a different direction. Okay, so this I think is the only class he has at this point committed to put on, and he is the guy that you want to have you want to learn from. So if you're considering permanent lighting, definitely don't miss out on this upcoming class.
awesome. Yeah, because like I say, he is super smart about it. And I don't. I mean, I've done one, and I still don't know all the ins and outs about it. So that's kind of my goal is to learn it. And I'm actually thinking about starting a permanent lighting business here in Cincinnati, and kind of doing it as a documentary for my Christmas light channel, and see how big I can grow it. I don't know 100%, but it's a thought across my mind right now. So if
Do
anybody,
it, do it, do it, do it.
I'll probably do it with DJ is who I'll probably do it with. So,
Good
but
stuff.
other than that, I hope you all have a great night. And before we jump off here, any words of wisdom before we jump off here?
Um,
Don't get
you
eaten by
know,
the dog.
hey Strider, you say hi to everybody. Don't
Biter
bite
the
me.
cider.
Strider the biter. If if you guys are looking to make a little bit extra money, you can absolutely accomplish that. If you're looking to make a lot of money, you can definitely do that too. You're just going to have to put in the work, and you got to start somewhere. If you haven't started yet, or if you're thinking about adding on a service, come to some training just so you can get going. If you're anything like me, just getting going seems to be the hardest part. And then once I'm committed to something, like I'm going to figure out those details one way or another. So if you're thinking about it, just go take some action, man. Just jump in, and we'll help. And Jason and I will help you figure it out.
Yep. Awesome, guys. Well, we'll talk at you later and hope you all have a great week.